when I was skating, there was like we said, the real pros. And then you started seeing these like really good skate kids come up through YouTube.
Yeah.
And the skate industry never felt like they recognized the YouTube kids as like real pro skaters.
Right.
But the YouTube kids were like creating a huge following. And in a lot of cases, they had more demand to sell product than a lot of the traditional pros. And it kind of feels like something similar is happening with golf, where you have all of these YouTubers now who are sick golfers that are creating brands that in a lot of cases are bigger than a lot of just the pros on PGA.
Right.
Is that more acceptable in golf, do you think? Like, is a grant more accepted from pros than maybe, the example in the skate industry?
I think it's being more accepted the last 2 years. Because now that I'm seeing like certain people go on the PGA Tour that you never would have seen 10 years ago, where you would have thought, oh, that's not gonna fly. I feel like you're just seeing it more and more, and it's because the companies get it.
Right.
It's a numbers game at the end of the day. As you know, like it goes through up the food chain, and each food chain is a numbers thing that you have to report.
Right.
So I feel like the top that's reporting to the actual owners, like, hey, look at these numbers. And the owner's going to be like, well, I don't care who it is. Those are great numbers.
Right.
So I think that's what's happening is
So like the YouTube, like, because you're in this world, right?
Yeah.
You create golf content. You've got a
Yes.
big following. You're doing brand deals because of it. Are there a lot of deals out there to be made for? And what would it be? Would it be a golf content creator?
Yeah.
Would it be a golf influencer? Would it be a golfer? What would be the technical category?
It's such a weird thing, right? Like, I don't really like calling myself an influencer, to be honest, but I call myself a content creator.
Okay.
I like that more.
Okay.
Like, I'm signed to Samsung this year. They signed me. But I think how I entered that was, look, I'm not just a golfer. I do business. So a lot of the meetings I have are business owners. I'm going to be using my Samsung phone. That's like a value add. It's not like necessarily like a direct ROI, but I do get a lot of business owners are like, dude, why do you use a Samsung? Why don't you use an Apple? I'm like, well, I'm with Samsung, first of all, but I'm with them because I believe in it. I think it helps my business life. Like the new S25 Ultra, the AI, like it's like my assistant. It's crazy. I just type something in calendar, send the text, send the email on like one little ecosphere.
So, like, if you're looking to do a deal with somebody, are you reaching out? Are you trying to find who, like, the CMO or the decision maker is, introduce yourself, build the relationship, and then try to do a deal? Is that all you?
That's all me. Yeah, the Samsung thing was crazy how that worked. It was at a Hype Golf tournament. Samsung was the title sponsor. Then for me, I was like, how is Samsung a title sponsor for golf? I've never seen this in my life. I would go to one of the workers there. He was a 1099. Doesn't work for Samsung. I was like, hey, do you have a card? Like, I just want to reach out. I reached out via email, and they're like, hey, like, we have a Team Galaxy. We don't pay, but we give free product. I was like, cool. Let me get a phone. I'll do content for you, show you how good I am, or whatever. If you like it, maybe we could have a long-term thing. Sure, I did 2 pieces of content. I didn't know if they liked it or not. Like 3 months later, I get hit up. They're like, hey, like, we want you to be Team Galaxy. I'm like, hey, like, I'm not going to do this unless I get paid, like, for my time. Sure enough, there you go.
What do you think about that? Do you think it's a better strategy to negotiate a deal first and not put or have any deliverables till the deal's inked? Or do you think there's value in saying, let me show you what I could do, and then using that to structure a deal?
I think it depends on who you're trying to partner with, right? Like something like Samsung is so big, you're probably going to have a harder time trying to convince them to do a deal with you until they see what they're going to get out of it. Right. Whereas with a smaller company, you have a little bit more latitude, easier access to the CEO, and you could probably negotiate something a little bit faster. But he took a leap of faith. He could have burned through however many hours it took him to put those 2 pieces of content together and not gotten anything out of it. And I would probably venture to say you probably have done that and nothing panned out for you in the past.
For sure.
With other companies. And so a lot of times we think that we have to have something inked ahead of time and not be willing to do some of the legwork to actually get there.
Right. So showing value first, there's possibly good value in doing so. Yeah.
I think it's a Gary Vee thing that I learned because I listen to Gary Vee all the time, and he's like, show your value first. Right. And I feel like if you like a company that much, why wouldn't you show your value first? Because you don't have the upper hand. I don't have the upper hand to Samsung. No chance.
Yeah, but think about what he just gained from it, right? Now he has the ability to go to other companies and say that he's, on the Samsung Galaxy team. And that right there creates a level of leverage for him that puts him in the front door without having to. So his actual 2 pieces of content that he did thinking it was just for Samsung has actually arguably opened the door for him for subsequent other deals down the road.
For sure.
Dang, I actually hear a lot of people in different industries that took like Gary Vee advice and like apply it. And that's, I think, a pretty good one. I didn't even know who Gary Vee was when we did this, but GoPro started getting into skateboarding when I was skating. Mm-hmm. And my friend Mike Mo and I wanted to get sponsored by them. And they just didn't want to sponsor us. So him and I took a similar approach. Like, dude, let's film a couple videos. And we filmed them and they loved them. And then they were like, hey, can you do more of these? And we're like, well, let's talk about a deal. We ended up getting a deal with them. So we took a similar approach. It worked.
I love that.
Yeah, it was cool. So what does your week look like? How often are you golfing? How often are you creating content? I know you have a business as well. So what I really want to kind of know is how much of it is just fun, how much of it is work, and what goes into to basically making money as a content creator.
I feel like it's all work. I feel like going to play fun, like for fun, requires no content.
Right.
Unless like I'm a guest on like your guys when you go play Oliva
That
Swings.
was fun.
That was fun. Cause I'm not doing anything other than golfing and hanging out with the guys.
Yeah, Michael knows I have a gift of blending business and pleasure, huh? Yeah.
I mean, that's a great. I haven't figured it out yet.
Right.
I think that's what it tells me is like, I get stressed. Like I just did this resort. It was a great resort, great weather.
When you went to Indian Wells?
Indian Wells, yeah, the Grand Hyatt, and I was stressed because I'm like thinking like, okay, I don't know if that shot came out good. Do I need to redo it? Like I'm not just swinging. So I think most of the time I feel like it's work mode for me.
So for somebody like Indian Wells, did they DM you? Did they reach out to you? Did you hit them up? How did you structure that deal?
So most of the time when I get up by a resort, it's through a agency. It's never through the actual resort. This time it was Candor PR agency. They reached out to me and said, hey, here are certain deliverables. These are the dates that we could, agree upon. If you're good to go, you'll get food credit. You'll get, a spa for your wife, things like that. You're just negotiating a little bit, and then.
And how often how many rounds did you get?
I just asked for one this time because I had to get back to work, but work from my other work. But just one night. But sometimes they'll do like 2-3 nights if you want.
And did you go by yourself or did you bring the boys?
I brought my wife.
Oh, okay, good.
Brought my wife. Yeah.
Okay, good. That's epic.
Yeah.
So you know what I was thinking? You played golf since you were a baby,
So
right?
9 years old, yeah.
Okay. And you have young kids, so you're probably going through this now with us. It feels like if you have a kid that's in sports today, that rules your life as a parent. It's like, especially if they're good, it feels like you have to put them in every
Right.
all-star or private club. It's expensive. You're traveling every weekend. Is that what it was like when you were young playing golf? Or do you feel like today what you have to do to have a kid be competitive is just takes a lot more demand to do it?
I feel like today it's too cluttered. I feel like almost kids don't get to have their natural ability honed before having like 10 coaches. It's like, I see like 12-year-olds having a strength and conditioning coach. He has a swing coach, a short game coach, a mental coach. It's like, dude, this kid needs to develop into his own before all this happens, in my opinion. I didn't start seeing stride for me till I was like 19. 19 is when I was like, okay, like, I feel like I could do this.
All right.
I didn't know I didn't shoot my first under par round till I was 15. And I've been playing golf. Like, I was not that good. And then I figured it out.
6 years and you shot under par.
Yeah.
Dang, I'm still trying. I'm like 10 years in.
Well, I guess.
I'm joking.
I guess what I was trying to say, I need to read the room better.
No,
Michael's
Mikey needs to be humbled sometimes.
we're still trying to get him to break 100. So
We got you.
Thanks, Jay.
Got you.
I've had a 70. I've touched into the 70s. My lowest round's a 76.
You got good flow.
I actually think I could be a decent golfer if I played more.
Well, yeah.
You got to play more.
No, because he keeps saying I have like a decent natural swing.
Okay.
But I just don't get out enough.
It's playing more, and then you get to a level, and then it's like, how do I manage myself?
Yeah.
Because now you're like, when you play good, you get excited. You want to go for everything. You're like, I'm good now. And then you start messing up. Then it kills your confidence. And it's this roller coaster of emotion. And then you're like, okay, I need to be able to relax. You know, it's like when you go and play blackjack. It's like, dude, you just won like $10,000 as soon as you walk away. No, I'm gonna go more. You lose all of it. You lose all your confidence.
Yeah. That happened to me last time we were playing. It was in Ohio, and I took 5 swings, and they collectively went 10 yards, and I left. And I called it a day. Yeah, we were all there together. I was like, I'm gone, guys. I'm going to the airport. I'm flying back home.
Yeah, that's right.
I was just one for me that day.
Michael had a little bit of a melt.
That was a rough one.
Yeah. What do you think the normal, like, somebody picks up a golf club, is it going to take them 2 years to break 100, or is it usually quicker than that? And then what I've noticed is, like, I had big improvements, and then I flatlined.
Yeah.
And I was like flatlined for years, and then I had a little bit of improvement. What is like the normal, like, average trend of a golfer?
You know, I think like for the average golfer, if you're like at least practicing or at least mirror work or something for at least 3 times a week, and you're on a right path and you're not chasing, you could break 100 in a year and a half, 2 years. If you're not, but you have to be on a good path. I think many people get married to a swing idea because it worked one time.
Uh-huh.
And I actually posted this the other day. The best golfer of all time, majors wise, I mean, I think Tiger's the best, but Jack Nicklaus, he has 18 majors, said, if I carry a swing thought for 6 months, that's a long time.
A swing thought?
A swing thought that worked.
Right.
If I carry it for 6 months, that's a very long time. This is the most major winner of all time saying this. So it's like, I went through this slump too because I won a big event and I had this swing thought. It worked for like 3 months. I'm like, no, this is it. And it just stopped working and I started panicking because that's why golf is so difficult. You have to keep refining yourself and checking up on yourself. Right. Always check. Your swing is like a baby. It's like, hey, you got your grip right. Hey, is your stance good? You slept wrong. Maybe your body's a little too 70% on the left side before you hit. You know, I'm getting surgical right now. It's not that crazy, but it is at the same time.
Right.
If it's a living of yours.
If you just started playing golf, is it important to take lessons right away? Or do you think somebody should just figure it out and then go get lessons?
I think it's important to get the grip correct and like your setup correct. Not necessarily the swing. I think the swing, everyone has their own swing. But the actual grip and like setup, solid setup, I think you need guidance in that.
Okay, so what do you think? I hear you on that.
Yeah.
For me, though, like, I wanted to take lessons first because I didn't want to create bad habits, even if they worked. I think mainly because, like, I didn't want to be the guy who, like, everybody's yelling at, like, oh, yeah, just swing your swing, right? I wanted a sick swing.
Right.
If you see somebody that plays good golf and their swing is crazy, like, any thoughts on that? Are you like, no, that dude rips? Or are you like, yeah, maybe you should do
I got to
this?
see a good pattern. If I see a good pattern, I'm like, do your thing.
Right.
I don't change.
You know what I'm talking about or no?
Well, yeah, but you just said Trump's swing looks terrible, but he's an incredible golfer.
If I had Trump's swing, even if I was good, it would kill me.